Welcome back to both YouTube and Facebook. Yes, we're live to do the moon update. I did do a little bit of an update on Instagram yesterday, had a bit of a chat, bit of the predictions that I saw coming through. So feel free to go and have a look at that. It was a bit of a laugh, really. I think we're all in that vibration at the moment of going, do we have to have a new beginning? But, really we are. And, in typical Scorpionic style, some of you can exhibit this energy quite nervously. So it could be, it's going to bring up control related dynamics, especially because the moon is emotion. It lands on the 5th. It's at 14 degrees. And it's going to link to each area of your charts, which I am going to pop on and off the screen. We're going to have the tarot. I'm going to interpret the energy. I'm going to tell you about the house system. Now, remember back to the house system. Why am I saying that? Because if you do go onto astroseek.com and type in astroseek birth chart, you can put your calculations in. And my tip for you will be, remember the house placements and then see where Scorpio in your chart is. And then you can go and you can listen to that update that I'm giving. And the tarot can also resonate with you. And really, any of those placements in your chart it's hitting, it's going to give you a conversation piece. Otherwise, feel free to book a reading in my very limited calendar. For the members, I did ask Google to ask you guys if tomorrow you would like a private super chat session. So those of you that are members and patrons of our YouTube, feel free to come through. I have selected a ruin cast for the energy today, moving into the eclipse. Remember, Pluto is currently retrograde in the house of Aquarius as of the first day of the month. So if the first day of the month you felt like you were cleaning out trash, getting things done, maybe feeling a little bit intense as well. Moon phases, where I always know when there's tension with particular zodiac signs, and generally it's when we have the moon in Virgo. It's because we can be feeling the pressure. Also, during Mercury retrograde, certain zodiac signs do need to look after their wellness more so. So it can be you get a bit run down, you get a bit burnt out. Virgo, not just Virgo, so it's Virgo and Gemini. You guys need to be cautious, paying extra attention, not rushing, taking time to really mull over things, but trying to not personalize it. We do have Venus at the moment in Gemini, which we need to be quite independent, especially we're going to be very attracted to intellectual stimulation. We can also be overstimulated at the moment. So it can be that you just feel so much is coming at you, and it's in typical Mercury retrograde style, especially because it's in Taurus, which is a Venus Venusian energy. We are having like subjects to do with the Met Gala coming up. And, I've been really pulling up birth charts, bringing them into the members and interpreting them quite a bit and teaching a little bit of the astrology. The ruin cast we have, okay, which I think is quite funny. So it is a 14, number 14 in the ruin cast. It relates to deity, I can't even pronounce it, color black, element water, which, it does make sense. It's emotions, it's intuition. Mercury being retrograde, you can find that your intellectual stimulation is on overdrive. Software, technology, media, it's also going to have glitches. I've already seen it on Instagram. I've seen it on Facebook. I've probably got to go back onto Instagram. Some of the things didn't schedule. Some of the things were triple scheduling. YouTube's having updates. Social media's having updates. So checking your emails, checking for those things. Now, the element of black is almost like we're in that darkness, but it's also very, in a spiritual connotation, it's protection. Pluto also can relate on the spiritual realm to Hades, the underrealm, and, death and things to that degree, which was really what I was sharing with the members. I'll see if I can actually find it, and I may share it while I am actually from my computer. Let's see if I can find it. Have to make them larger. I did share a whole list of them to the members. Really understand, because astrology, a lot of times people will be telling you your zodiac. There was a beautiful gentleman that I had a chat. I can't find it. We'll just leave it. I'll share them later. But I was basically interpreting their energy, and I was like, how do you know that? And I was like, it's just the current astrology. You're always going to get the best out of it, A, by a personal reading, B, if you know your birth chart, because we have 12 houses, and each house has a personality trait, so do the planets, and so you're mixing it to understand how that can play out. Now, I do really firmly believe that at this time, a lot of us have had about 2 years to really work out what's working, what's not. There might have been some delays, some avoidance, some reality checks we had. So we were really integrating. And because this moon in the eclipse cycle is relating to the south node, which is our past, usually in a south node, it's like an angle. It's a mathematical energy point calculated. At the moment, the north node is in Taurus, the south node is in Scorpio. So whenever we have that signature, it's almost a place where we have become comfortable in our life, which I think is very interesting, because Scorpio is quite interesting. It can be debt, legacies, maybe loans and getting loans out and just living on debt constantly. So universe has shifted us around, but they forced us to that Taurus energy. So a lot of our attention, our obsession was in this area, and this month can be where we're actually culminating that energy. So there's this nervousness, there's this frequency with Scorpio that we want to hold on to the old. We want to stay where we are. We don't want to make an adjustment or leave something behind. Now, that could be our emotional psychology. That could be our belief systems to do with wounds that we have, that we feel we don't have the capacity to transform. You also could have an attachment and control related dynamics. Some of this could also bring up subjects to do with your own personal power. I knew this cat was going to do it. And I'm telling you, at the moment with the moons, I'm going to let the cat out. I'll be back in 5 seconds. I was literally going to tell you guys, I'm guaranteeing you this cat messes with me. And she's going to mess me up. Give me 5 seconds and we're going to talk about that and then get into your star signs. And I will discuss how it's going to shape up and how to best navigate it. Yes. If it's not my kid, it's my cat. We could say partner too, but, we'll leave him out of this at this point. So with that access, we are in a spiritual sense going to feel as though we are very anxious. What will it mean? How will it be? Am I going to be okay? What if the outcome isn't going to be good? It's uncertainty. So it's a frequency of uncertainty. This is going to be one of those months that does feel that we are unpacking a lot. You know what I mean? So spiritually, it's emotional. It can be our psychology. It can be the frequencies. It can be wounds that come up, insecurities, control, intimate wounds. Okay. So let's have a look at what it means. On the mundane, in the ruin cast, mystery, chance, and unpredictable event. I always say intimate encounters because you've got to go at least 10 minutes into a video or you get in trouble if you're talking schmack. I'm speaking in code here. Intimate encounters, the things we do for fun, right? Scorpio can relate to that. So it can be your base chakra. You can find that feminine's menstrual cycles can be heavier. UTIs and things like that. Now, that is not medical advice. Always seek a professional for that. The subject matter in that area can be the hidden realm. So Pluto retrograde as well. You're going to find during this time also where it does come to, how could I say it, our feelings, our comfortableness in our skin, feeling confident that we are acceptable to maybe a love interest, or that they're going to unconditionally love us and we're going to unconditionally love ourselves. These old situations are going to come to the forefront. So it's mastery, chance, and unpredictable event. Encounters. I always think of the floor as lava with Scorpio because it's the underground. Intimate encounters, esocentric, unfolding, fate, karma, feminine mastery, initiator of events, incubation. Reversed. Now, how can this play out even if maybe you are feeling on the lower frequency? Of late, I have been looking at the tarot, especially on the higher and the lower octane. So it could be a little bit like a square in astrology or an opposition, and you're feeling there needs to be a little bit more time. Irritation and fear leading into the eclipse. Vulnerability, ill fortune, faults and mistakes exposed. Another thing that comes up with Scorpio. So we can have, it's a little bit like the taboo subjects, maybe a prime minister or a president with an affair, or, things that we just don't talk about because they're non-acceptable. And that can be our well-being, or, at debt, and we don't tell anyone that we have it. But it's almost like it's a karmic close. So if we don't do something, yes, it's going to continue down this path. Yes, the white ants in the building are going to destroy it. It's going to link to a particular area in your life. The emotions, being moon, being an eclipse, is going to be high. It's not going to be the same as the previous one. The previous one was the introduction to the new nodal cycle coming up in July, which is going to be the subject matter that we will all be living in, as well as in our own personal charts. In society for about a year and a half to 2 years, roughly, probably through to 2025. So that was quite intense. It was a double whammy, that one. This one is going to be different, but because Pluto's retrograde, you're going to feel like you've got a lot of balls in the air. You're going to feel like you're going backwards to go forwards, you're going forwards to go backwards, and there are highs and lows with this month. So I would say the first 2 weeks are the most intense points, frustrating. You're going to feel very fatigued because of Mercury being in Taurus. So our intellect is going to be a bit burnt out. You may go for the cookie jar. You may feel you just want to rest. You may want to go to an island and have a pina colada, but you just can't because you're paying the ferryman. So there are these dynamics where you feel this urgency that it's necessary. And with Uranus and Taurus in the mix, in Mercury, it can be radical and very quick change. And we have seen in society at the moment, especially on YouTube, a lot of talks about changes in technology. What the ramifications are, what that will actually mean for the collective. Will it take people's jobs? Will it, it's always that, any change we are afraid of, Scorpio. And so we get down to the grit of that, and it comes up to the surface and it shows the collective consciousness. So there are these things at a collective level that we are looking at, but we're also reworking. Now, that Scorpio axis is where you can get some luck. It may not be at the time, but it may be if you're pulling a pin in one area. What's that game? We talked about it. Was it Jenga? And it's like pulling different pieces out and, trying to prevent the tower from going down, but giving it your best shot. That's sort of what I'm seeing. So fate is simply a matter of chance. There you go. In which we play no active part, hence the association with the dice, the cup, and the game of chance. But the fact that our every thought and action is stirring into a conundrum by our own hand as an unwittingly brewing our own fate. I really was talking about manifestation and being in the vortex, and also, this being a simulation. What are we simulating right now? What are we in our mind's eye due to a fair-based frequency actually co-creating in our life? Do we get into the frequency of going, I'm going to fail, or do we go, I'll give it the best shot? Let me move beyond the wound. Let me move beyond the fear, and let's see what we can get. Okay. And anything else I need to say about that before we go into your signs? you know, especially this being creation, we are very protective of ourselves. You're also going to be very protective of your vessel. So it can be, you know, is chemistry going to spike? Yes. If you have an overactive chakra in an area, you can become aggressive. If you have an underactive, you can feel very unmotivated and lack of creativity. So, you know, particular zodiac signs are going to need a particular area to enhance their vibration to assist them. I'm going to quickly look at, close that down. I did keep it open. Okay. Now, I did try to print this, which was a bit of a bugbear, but I was having difficulty. Let's get I'm going to quickly look at the tension points in the chart. So Pluto at the moment in its retrograde is in the house of Aquarius. It is going to be making, during the moon on the 5th, it is going to be making an opposition to the sun. So your direction point, you're going to feel it's difficult. Generally speaking, they're eclipses. I generally suggest 2 days before, during, 2 days after, not to do anything drastic. There are moments, and I'm definitely seeing it this month, where you simply have no choice. So it can be if something comes up, you have to address it, even though it is a Mercury retrograde, even though it's an eclipse. The one suggestion I would make is check the use-by dates of foods. Go down the rabbit hole of sniff, take, you know, look at it. Is it off? Is it okay? Especially because Scorpio can be like rotten meat and things to that degree. Use-by dates expired or something hidden. Check your packaging. You could find things in packaging and there could be some recalls during this time. Also, emotional spending. Try and keep that down to, you know, a minimum. Spend with need. Values at the moment will be shifting up and down. Now, with the opposition, it is very natural for certain zodiac signs to find it difficult during an eclipse or a moon phase. Now, they would be, you could say Scorpio, but I would say at this point in time, Virgo. Not Virgo. I keep saying Virgo. Leo. Why? It's because you guys are the sun and you like to know your direction, and all of us collectively are going to want that, but there could be a difficulty. So if you're concerned and you don't know what way to go, you don't know what to do, give it a day. That would be my piece of advice. Pacifiers during an eclipse. Drinking. You could overeat. You could feel very tense. You're also going to find that the food closer to that moon, you may be going on and off food at this point, going into obsessive cravings, into just not interested at all, and maybe going for something a little bit lighter. Honor the body, but be careful because food can sit very heavy and there can be some blockages. So increase the fluid at this point from a food point of view in the holistic energy of things, but always follow your practitioner's advice over mine any day. Heart chakra also may need to be cared for during this time. I definitely said we'd see a lot of celebrities in the media, and already my members have sent me 2, which I have interpreted their charts. It can be heightened. Okay, so career value, anything seriously I need to, big changes, okay? We're having a conjunction to Uranus. This could be positive. Trying to Mars and Saturn, looking after your health and wellness, getting into a structured routine. Some of you also are going to be reworking your thoughts and feelings and emotions in relation to your wealth and its creation. We're going to go into the zodiac signs now, and we are going to flick over the screen. Okay, so Aries. Let's have a look at your energy, and then we're going to pull a card. We're going to pull some cards. Okay. I'll close the other windows down so they don't drive me batty. Now, Aries, yours links to your 12th house. Let's double check I'm correct and get you back on screen. Yes, correct. No, incorrect. Mercury retrograde. Yes, because I opened the other chart. 8th house, correct. Okay, so your 8th house. The 8th house can be a good thing. Now, In traditional astrology, we can look at the 8th house as tax, debt, legacies, inheritances. It can be your partner's money. It can be your shares and bonds. It also can be your emotions, your insecurities. This can be on the up and up, that you are going to be manifesting in a new sense of stability. Now, in the interim, there could be something that you're needing to address. It could be some element of paperwork. It could also be to do with looking at your partnerships. Now, this can be your romantic or physical contracts. Could it relate to work? It could, but it could be your investments. You know, what you're investing in, who you resonate with, what feels more in alignment with you. And it's almost like, I feel you will be doing a life audit. So you directly could be looking at your life at this point in time and saying, okay, usually when you look at the 8th house, it can be like, okay, in order for me to go to work, you might have, for instance, insurances. You could have daycare for your child so you can attend work. So it's the things that you can depend on in a healthy sense to help you live your life and do the things you need to do. It's the healthy codependency in a chart. So these reviews, if there is debt that you're trying to wrap up, if you are reviewing paperwork or looking at, even because we have the moon at the moment in Cancer, this can be, hey, I want to rent my house out so I can gain money, because it's other people's money. You can have the gift of the gab at this point, but you may need to critically look at a contract and your direction moving forward and what you need to address. Could you have to replace some white goods? There is a possibility. Could you be looking at your future? Also, if there was an ancestor that had transcended over, and this would have been previous tense, there can be healing in relation to that, but it would be like the last year or so, you know, not in the here and now, generally speaking. Inheritances can come to the forefront, so it can be the paperwork associated to it. Also, intimacy can come under this. So this can be, how do you feel about a person? What are the emotions associated to it? Do you believe in life after love? So there can be a point in your life you're looking and you're going, okay, can I actually have a new chapter? The courage. I do feel you're ready to start a new chapter, and this new chapter is going to be really, really positive, but having to actually face your shadow in it. This could also be, and remember what we said about the Scorpio placement, it can be where you're embarrassed to tell somebody you love of something that's happened. So this can be maybe an apology, or it can be, I have this insecurity, I have this circumstance going on. Am I worthy? Am I lovable? I mean, you're coming through as the 7 of Wands. You're Aries, you have courage, okay? You can do anything, but some of you could feel you're leaving something behind that is really good, but this could be, in my opinion, psychology. So in your psychological belief, you could be thinking you've failed, but in your psychological belief, you're really looking at the truth of who you can and can't depend on. You're also really looking at what that new foundation is, and you're going to be very driven. You're going to be very driven to create a foundation, and you could even be looking at your friendship groups at this point in time and saying to yourself, I need to be careful about the people I'm surrounding myself with. I need to create a life that is sustainable. I need to create a life that is attracting in people who I can be my funky self, because we can have insecurities with it. We also can have control. If there is something you need to address, what I am getting with this card is, if you can see through the tunnel and you're looking at something and you're like avoiding, you can either pull the tower down yourself or address it, or it can happen to you. You can take the control of it where there is control on your side of the fence, or you can let it go and whatever is meant to be is meant to be. Does it make sense? Now, in love, these are like, it does suggest a brand new chapter. This to me psychically is showing that there's going to be a new chapter. But I'm looking at the triangle and it's like, okay, psychologically, you're looking at the future. You're like, I wonder how it'll be. If I have to make some changes in my life, is that going to directly impact? And I feel this conversation coming through, especially with those of you in relation to a romantic interest, and how maybe they will accept your opinion, your choices, that you're making, even if they aren't in the mix right now. Now, Mercury retrograde can bring people from the past back. So don't be surprised if that is the fact. So make sure to get your paperwork done. Read all your contracts at this point in time, because there is a point where it can come to tax, debt, legacies, inheritances. If you feel something's off, investigate it, especially for your zodiac sign, because Neptune is over your 12th house. You must be very careful near big transits. That can be with pacifiers and overindulgence to deal and avoid with wounds. Just a tip. Let's look at the next zodiac sign, Taurus in your 7th house. Okay. Now, there is a chance chapter happening in your marriages, contracts, and partnerships. So what can that look like? Look, these can be old wounds to do with love. This could be for some of you, say you broke up a year ago and you're going through a divorce and you're finalizing the paperwork. And it can be a wrap. All right. If you have been sitting on the fence and you really were sick of a person, you're like, to the left. You got to go. It's got to go. We've got to talk about this uncomfortableness. We've got to talk about the elephant in the room. The way you use your money, the way you deal with your body. Some of you are going to say, look, I want my sexy back. I want my sexy back. I want to do something. That is based on the transit. Marriages, contracts, partnerships. You can be reviewing what you're doing. I do think you guys are going to be very serious about your future. You can also be attracting people from the past back. This also could be a time when you are securing a more stable way of resonating inside of love because you have done spiritual work on yourself. Now, what does spiritual work look like? I've had a time. I've had a bit of time to reflect. I've had a bit of time to sit with it. I had the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay, I'm open. And this can be a brand new chapter and a window for you in the area of romance. Now, the other thing I can say, interestingly enough, is, always look to your Jupiter placement, especially for marriage in your birth chart. Otherwise, feel free to book a reading and we can look at that. This is a brand new chapter. This can be people from the past coming back. It's only going to resonate with you if you feel you guys both have transformed. New chapter, okay? Reading your documents, looking at your contracts. There could be where you are going up a level at work and there is a review of your contract. Could there be delays? Yes, because Mercury is retrograde. Try to be patient, read all fine print, but definitely some new beginnings. Okay, now, could you be second-guessing yourself and thinking that the same thing's going to happen? Somebody betraying you. If you're in a connection and you are not happy with it, tap out. Don't make it more complicated. Be very careful because Scorpio will bring those secrets to the surface. If there's some shady behavior going on, it's going to come out. Just be really careful. Giving the naughties a tip. If you feel that it has just been a wound and there are insecurities coming up, just understand the transit, that it's moon, it's emotion, it's conditioning, it's childhood. They're traumas, they're situations that we take into connections, but those situations don't have to define your direct romantic path. They can actually give you a new chapter in a healthy way. So you could be thinking that you are being cheated out of a situation. Funny, right? You can feel as though you can be absolutely obsessed by this person and just want to get down and dirty. Like whoever this person is, you could be absolutely obsessed with them. They also could be very obsessed with you. Now, the interesting thing is during this time, we can be that energy can be heightened. It's like, illicit affairs and social media, hearing about some naughty thing that a president has the same situation. So, yes, it can be. Just, cross your T's and dot your I's, watch yourself with it, keep it all above board. But this is, honoring yourself and saying, okay, a contract I'm currently dealing with, this could be in career, it could be in romance, it could be with your friendship groups. Being careful who you tell things to. Mercury is retrograde, things will get out. Also, if you do directly feel in a contract sense you're not getting your worth, stepping up, actually saying something and doing something about it and saying, okay, bonus, during Mercury retrograde, it's generally a great time to reassess where you stand. This does link to your love life. It links to your partnerships, your contracts, your friends, your money, your body, your dress sense. You are going to be reflecting upon that during this time. It's okay to say, I also call it the Emperor's New Clothes. You could be going, this isn't sexy. I don't like this outfit. Why am I dressing like this? I do know since 2020, a lot of us have got into the sloppy joes, the staying at home, and it feels like we're being reintroduced back into society in a new way. And even the Met Gala, I really did look at their astrology and I saw that the fashion sense is definitely going to be a bit taboo. Mercury retrograde for a launch is never a good thing. So it could get pretty messy. People could have mixed vibes and values. Worst time you could launch it, host it, but it's the way it is. Society is changing. It's going to bring taboo subjects up. You definitely are going to be in that vibration this month, but don't be afraid to say, hey, I have wicked chemistry. I am attractive. I'm beautiful. I'm going to my goals. I'm doing the things I want and I know my worth and I will fight for my right to be honored in that fashion. And it feels really positive, Taurus. So for some of you, yes, it can be that you're addressing it and saying, look, we're going to Pluto this out. For others of you, it can be there's a brand new chapter. You could be re-getting the chemistry back in the connection. You can be renegotiating the terms. Anything else I see for you guys? 2, 3. And be careful, pregnancies. Okay, next is Zodiac sign. Gemini, 6th house, look after your health. Okay, this is for you to be successful. You guys will need... I love you, Gemini, okay? My daughter and I were talking about this morning because when her child is, fingers crossed, if universe permits, any time between this month and next month. So she's like, look, 1 month is going to be this zodiac. The next month is going to be that. The next month they have no set date. So Geminis are so intellectual. Venus is in your sign, right? You will be very focused on your image because Venus is there. The Scorpio eclipse can make you feel quite run down, especially because Mercury is retrograde. Now, emotionally, there can be a bad habit or a routine you're ditching. You also, 6th house is really good to get to the root cause of wounds, to get to the root cause of things, to drop grievances, to let things spiritually go. It's Mercury retrograde, Leonix. Of course it is. We'll talk end. And what my predictions are for it, because it's very taboo, but it's an epic style fashion. I mean, Uranus and Taurus can be bisexual energy. It can be older, younger. It's innovation. It's going to be like jaw-dropping, but this is what the transit still is for us to talk about these more taboo subjects. So for you, Gemini in your 6th house, for you to be successful, it's like, what paperwork do you need to wrap up? Have you been getting run down? Do you need to tweak your routine and create more structure in order to get success? I do feel some of you are going to be getting into maybe a more strict role. You could be taking a lot on at this time. This could be anything to do with travel, to do with, changing your eating, changing your timing for getting your maybe products done if you're running a business. It's going to be a lot to do with organization. This also could be management. And the only reason I say that is because it may be you are learning to manage your life, but inevitably you also could need to recover. So for some of you, it could be that you want to have a moment away to reflect upon what you want to do. Some of you, I really do see future tense. You might want to move, and this could be to a foreign country. Now, they're saying, which to me is very positive, if you want to reach your goal, there's something you need to let go of. Only you can answer this. What is going to take you to your success? Is it emotional? Is it a physical situation, something that's blocking you? Or is it is it inside, outside, or in here? Attitude is going to be everything. Sometimes we can get into the negativity first before we directly can say, look, let's pull the toenail out. Let's address the elephant in the room. The star card is that you could be in darkness right now because this is the outcome, right? This is the suggestion, the goal. Could you be in darkness right now? Yes, Mercury's retrograde. It's frustrating, Miss Sweets. You know, it's like, oh gosh, you know, and a Scorpio eclipse. Wounds, health, getting run down, getting organized. You could have a lot of balls in the air, feeling tension, misunderstandings. You know, how do people communicate with you? How do you allow that to directly impact your foundation? Don't let them take you from your star. If you know inside your body and your life, you are the star and you give the best, you do your best, and you're coming from a place of love and heart, regardless of what their opinions are, you're still the star. Could we take it as constructive criticism? We probably should, whatever that be. If we are Mercury in energy, getting crosswise, because we do have Mars in Cancer at the moment, which does mean on top of all of these transits, we're going to be over emotional. We can get angry. We can take things personal. You are going to get your star. A change in attitude, a change in structure and routine. I'm hearing the term water off a duck's back. Do not allow it to affect your vibration. Know your goal. Smile if you're triggering people. It sounds quite sadistic, really, right? It's like smile if you're peeving somebody off. But it's like, look, you may be insecure about your goals. You're projecting me. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. I know who I am today. I might be different tomorrow. That's okay too. But move towards your star. If you are going through a dark time, do things that are going to bring you pleasure. Do things that through the psyche are going to take you to a higher vibration. Be careful of pacifiers, your Mercury. So, you know, I use pacifiers for the term for YouTube purposes because we don't want to get in trouble in this society, in this modern day and age. I hope that lands. So if you find something is off, you know, going and checking it. Scorpio can uncover things that are there. It can be things, sixth house can be the house of your personal undoing, your behavior patterns. Could it be psychology? Yes, with the other transits because it's Scorpio. Could it be a health? If something feels off, check it. Seek professional advice. Also getting run down, tired, emotions coming up, old emotions, let them surface, write them out, cast them to the wind, and know that tomorrow is going to be a different day. Pets also, you may consider getting a pet at this time. That could also be for some of you if you have an unwell pet. You must look after your pets during this time because they can be more sensitive. And remember, it's an ending and a new beginning. Next, zodiac sign. If I miss somebody, tell me. Okay, so Cancer, and then we'll get into Leo after. And I looked at the chart, and this is because I wanted to print it, but my printer's out. I have some education content I'm doing this week, so personally, that is, even though I have been upskilling in the members for them. Okay, so Cancer, your fifth house. This is your this can be to do with your children. If something has been a bugbear for you, now how could this happen? How could this play out? It could be some changes that your children have been going through. It might have been your, you know, it might have been to do with a separation and your children. For some of you, it could be children that you're currently dealing with. Or you fall pregnant and you're going, oh my gosh, you know, there's another one on the way. There is a new chapter here. So could it be children moving in, children moving out, messages, secrets coming out, going down the rabbit hole of the taboo? Yes, because Scorpio is secrets. This could be dirty little secrets, but it also could be wounds associated to your personal childhood because it's fifth house. Creativity, kicking out the old, bringing in the new. What are you currently doing in a creative sense that you feel isn't resonating? Maybe it's in business. Maybe it's with a social energy, and maybe you just haven't had time to socialize and you're like, right, we're going to nip this in the butt. And I do really see a lot of you guys at the moment are going to become very social. You're going to be very busy. You're going to be very social. So the fifth house also can be the way we resonate inside of love. A new chapter. This could be if you are in a very toxic relationship in the fifth house, this could bring up fights. This could bring up subjects where you haven't articulated how you felt. It could be insecurities in the way that you relate to a romantic interest. Blasts from the past can come back, but it's only going to resonate with you if it changed, okay? If it didn't change, you're going to Scorpio it out and say, and really look at your map in your life and look at, does it resonate? Does it now resonate with you? And it doesn't mean to say these things can't shift. If anything, this point in the kind of dynamic of the astrology does mean that the things that are coming towards us is more we're in alignment, it's ready, we know what to push out. Is it an emotion or a 3D circumstance? If you are in an absolutely toxic relationship and you're not vibing, you also may, with social crowds, ditch that, social habits, ditch that. And this could be luxury foods going, look, I've got to cut it out because it's 5th house. Your creativity also and fatigue may have got you to a point where overindulgence was possible and fatigue. Romantic liaisons that were hidden is one way it can play out. I don't know why Twins call me because he knows I'm open. If there was an affair, it could be shown, but I'm really getting more the up and up is it's a brand new chapter. That's really what I'm getting. I'm getting that with the 5th house. It can be a new creative project. If you're launching a business and you're looking at such, you're like, okay, what would I need to get out of this business? And what would I need to put back in? What are the systems and the structures? What would it actually look like? Socialization and new social things. This could be having some private time with your love interest, speaking to a love interest about, something that's very, very personal. But it is a new chapter. This is going to be in romance. This is going to be linking to children, linking to creativity, but also within your own spirituality. Shadow work is possible. At the moment, Mercury can actually also link to your 12th house. So it's going to be to do with your memories and courage to move through to the here and now. Yeah, this can be to do with a person. This is you actually shining bright like a diamond and being yourself. This is you being an independent thinker. And I don't know why I'm getting innovation. So it's okay. I need to be assertive. I need to know what I'm going for. I need to ooze confidence. But also learning to be okay on your own in order to be okay in connections. I do feel you're going to be a little socialite. I will be perfectly honest. But you're going to need to not allow white noise to interfere with your belief systems. And I think a lot of your life really has transformed over the years. And I do feel now you can intellectualize such and you know what you want to address. So this spiritual element of things, I think you are going to make a decision. I think some of you also in that circumstance, maybe relating to exes or children, you thought maybe the person would have leveled up. You can only know that yourself, right? But there could be something that you're hearing. There could be something you're addressing, especially in relation to romance. Anything else I'm getting? Yeah. Really communicate how you feel. I would say that. Make sure you don't let that go by the wayside. Making time for it, making time for each other, turning back in and renegotiating the terms. For some of you, yes, it could be that you feel you're just not on that vibe. For others of you, keep everything on the up and up because, like I said, in typical Scorpio fashion, shady things will come out. Leo, 4th house, home, family. If you are running a home-based business, changes. Oh, interesting. Your card just flew out the gate. Changes. If you are looking at moving home, changes. If you have delayed such, changes. Situations relating to siblings can come up. They can be wounds. They can be dirty secrets. It could be gossip. You can physically have put getting a home on the absolute back burner. Well, what happens at the end of the nodal cycle? By July, we have the nodes move. This section of the eclipse will be the last eclipse during its nodal cycle, which is in the south node. So by the time we have the next eclipse in the zodiac sign, the nodes would have shifted. So this is a wrap up, so to speak. This is you're running out of time. If you have avoided something, getting a house in organization, maybe having to replace white goods, maybe getting to a space where you're dealing with children-related dynamics or, helping a family member. 4th house can also be where we are caring for relatives, caring for a child, being maybe a single parent, so to speak. Something in that dynamic is shifting. You've had to look at your shadow inside of that for those of you who that resonates with. There is this movement forward, but If there has been avoidance and insecurities, universe is asking you in those areas of life, be it it's an organization, be it it's in a home-based business, in saving for a home, in doing something in that department, or dealing with maybe a sibling and having a candid chat. This also could be in your role as a parent, or, maybe just being in a hermit mode, not wanting to leave the home. It's been in the South Node for about 18 months. Well, it's the wrap up. So something's coming to a head. And because we do have Uranus closely linked, it can be sudden. You got the Fool card. That's like having the courage to move forward. Do you have all the information? Maybe you have spent the last 18 months thinking about this domain of your life. Do I buy? Do I sell? People moving in, people moving out, family-related dynamics, mother-father energy. Mother-father energy of wellness is a potential as well, more so mother. Healing, forgiving, letting go. Sudden things. I think it's more a wrap-up, though, of a physical environment in some shape or form. Could be moving in with somebody, having another child, more fifth house. But again, I still see that as a possibility. The Fool card is going to freak you out. But the Fool card it's 0 degrees, right? And where's Pluto at the moment? 0 degrees. So these are new chapters, both in maybe in love, maybe in your contracts and partnerships. Having to jump in the deep end, a circumstance could happen that makes you have to do that. Or that you suddenly have this revelation, okay, I need to deal with the elephant in the room. What is that going to be? You could have emotions relating to it. You're going to revisit them. You're going to be meditating. It might be, where do I live? What country do I live in? What feels it resonates with me? How would that work? In an analytical thing, it's funny because I actually see this card. This card doesn't think. This card jumps in the deep end and infinitely knows that where every given situation there is variable, and it can be good and bad. And you clean it up as you go and you deal with that as you go. And that could be a circumstance you currently have to. And that could be if you have left it for a long time. But it could be a very exciting new chapter that you're jumping into. And you're just ready for the ride. So take it how it lands. Fourth house. Definitely see movement in that department. People moving in, people moving out. Changes with mother, changes with family, changes with your role and your routine. So I hope that helped. Don't forget to look in your charts where this placement is for you. And remember the houses. So this is fourth house. So if you have your Scorpio in the fourth house, this will resonate with you too. Virgo, third house, communication, contracts. This can be your day-to-day routine, nutritional value, contracts, and a sense of paperwork, having to run about to get things done. Are there some unfinished tasks that you haven't dealt with? Some of you could be looking at cars and vehicles and transportation. Some of you could have a sudden trip. It's really funny because when the nodes do shift, technically I do see this being quite an interesting placement for certain zodiac signs when Jupiter moves into Taurus, because some of you have that moving into third house, and I'm like, some of you might not travel, but I do see there's a possibility at the moment, Virgo, that, you could be maybe dealing with oral health or teeth or things that are hidden, having candid conversations. This could be talking to therapists, going into more the spiritual and occult wisdom and looking at things. Habits also can be ditching habits in that zone, but it can be really spiritual kind of conversations with individuals. This can be at a heart-centered energy. This can be to do with the past and betrayals. This can be feelings and insecurities. Now, I'm telling you, Virgos are very strict with themselves, but at the same time, during a Mercury retrograde, you're not yourself, okay? You're not going to be yourself still. Forgive yourself. Scorpio naturally, collectively, is going to want to jump in and be controlling. I would sit with it, journal, talk about things, talk about the hard things. And where there's a conflict, the conflict of interest could be too many balls in the air, too many moving pieces, anxiety associated to it because you feel drawn to make a decision or a statement piece. There's a conflict of interest here, but you could, look, some of you could just really put that to bed. I just really feel the conflict of interest is, what do you want to say yes to? And I think use Mercury retrograde, even though we're going into the eclipse. I feel that if this is in relation to where you're working, what you're doing, and your romantic area of life or your social settings, there's something in the mix. Again, it's Scorpioing it out. You're fearing it's going to continue on for ages, but it's not going to be the same, whatever this is, because effectively, if you address the devil in the detail, you're going to be able to A, come to terms with something, but B, make a solid decision. Because it's almost like I'm seeing the scale psychically, and you feel that you've got too many balls in the air. You feel pulled in too many directions. What do you want to do? And what would make you happy, regardless of what everyone else feels? I hope that's sound advice. Now, could there be replacements of white goods and things to that degree? Very possible. It's the third house. Cars breaking down, you name it. Libra, second house. I think this is really interesting. Hey, Libra. Hey, Libra. Okay, oral hygiene, yes. Dental work, possibly. Wrapping it up. It's changing, having candid conversations, really making a solid decision about your wealth in your life, making some goals. Some of you could have these radical like goals that you set last month, and you're going, right, this is what I've got to do. This can be you increasing your money area. Now, this month for all of us, it's going to be in and out, in and out, in and out. It could be wrapping it up. Remember, it's an ending. So it's like, oh, they're actually better than you thought. We can do that now. We can wrap it up. But your wealth is going to be money during this cycle for Libra. Now, again, remember, second house in your birth charts. If it's in your birth chart, this will resonate with you regardless of what zodiac sign you are. Second house. So second house can be to do with net worth, professional resources. You can be networking. You might have had an idea to do with your career and you had to do tweaks and changes. You may have made some adjustments in association to such. And that will create more structure, more stability. You probably had to pull things out. If you are dealing with wealth in any area, the things you've been changing, you could have had to replace goods and all the rest of it. It's now creating that solid structure. Could there be paperwork? This can be, it's second house, but it's eighth house as well. So it's tax, debt, inheritances, legacies. That could be coming in. You also could get new contracts. You could pay some money out, but end up getting more. There's a change in that area of your life. It's also your confidence and your self-esteem. So spiritually at the moment, you could have these real old wounds coming up. And you could be going, pushing it down, pushing it down. I'm psychologically looking at that differently. No, I'm not going to let that define me. I am scared. I'm going to jump in the deep end and I'm going to address these things. So it can be confidence. It could be your land, your physical assets. It might be people that you know in your industry that you need to network with. I was looking at Kim Kardashian and I literally said to the members, Kim Kardashian is a Libra. Now, it's interesting. She's really got a lot of shade lately, and I've really got to dig down into her chart. This year, we are having the North Node moving into Aries, and in history, we had a lot to do with masculine energy coming up. Now, it's also going to highlight Libra having to focus on their relationship sector, their contract sector, their marriage sector. So Kim Kardashian may get married, but it also can be where we're nurturing those areas of our life to correct them and to bring them back up. So let's get a card for Libra. Relating to your wealth house, your confidence house, your going on up baby house, and what are you leaving behind? What? And it could be a dream as well. It could be like, nah, I'm not depending on that. Or, yeah, that was a good idea. No, it's not. I'll leave that behind. Being rational. And at the moment, you do have Saturn moving through your sixth house of organisation, so be realistic. I don't know. Are we realistic? Optimistic? No, I can't even say that these days. Is Libra optimistic? Libra's a bloody realist right now. We're like, maybe we've got a bit too much of that Virgoian energy going on during Mercury retrograde. Nah, not buying what you're selling. What? Let's see. What have we got? Yeah, you're like, look, I am not wasting money on things that I don't need. You're being realistic. So there could be, and this is what I'm getting. I feel you are going to think before you jump. Yeah, but I think you already have a plan. I really do. I think you've had some downloads. I think you believe, you understand, you've had time to unpack. We've had 18 months. You could be doing things, but it scares you anyway. But you are addressing the devil in the detail. You're being careful because you have a big plan. You have a big dream and you want to make that happen. Some of you are going to become more comfortable with articulating how you feel. Some home truths, some truth serum. And it could be where your vibration comes back and you're able to be the best, because what's not going to work for you is when you can't be yourself. When you feel that somehow people are going to misunderstand you, or you're going to have to walk on eggshells, or that's just not going to work. You're going to find that's going to start suppressing your throat chakra, because technically the second house is to do with values, right? But it's also can be speech, eating, nutrition. That's been off for us at the moment. Dental, but it's Chiron energy, but it's here. So it's the worthiness, okay? So it's your worth, it's your scales. So really, if you've been observing something and you're like, I think, it's almost like transactional energy has been misunderstood. You're trying to clean those things up, okay? You make sure to communicate effectively. It's going to be difficult. You might have to repeat. You are going to inevitably get your point across. You're going to be careful, empathetic, understanding, but you are going to make sure that you're reading your facts. You're dealing with documents. You're dealing with paperwork. Some of you could return to a previous employer. Some of you may rework your businesses to look a different way. Some of you are looking at your assets and your wealth and what adjustments you would need to make for your success for some of the separate goals that you have going on. But it is to do with joint situations as well. So don't be surprised if that goes on the up and up. During the month, it could look a bit dicey up and down. But whatever changes you make at this point, say something crops up and you've got to pay it. Know that, this is what I said about Libra. It's similar to Taurus. You will buy quality, okay? You'll be like, okay, let me weigh the pros and cons. Do I need to maybe update something? Okay, what are the pros and cons? If I get this product, it's probably going to last a year. If I get this product, it's 20. What way do I go? Well, if I can, I'll go the one that's going to last longer. But again, if you're cautious on it, you got to juggle a bit. But I think you're going to be rational with it. Okay. Now we have Scorpio, first house, very, very personal. You could change your status, how you feel about yourself, your emotions, who you are, whether you've hidden it from people or you're expressive of it. This can even be coming out. It's like, this is who I am. You can also feel very paranoid at this point in time, and you're very intuitive, but Mercury being retrograde, it can be changes. Look, this can be changes in your wellness. This can be changes in your physical image, changes in your status, changes in roles in your workplace and relationships. There's big changes here. But emotionally, if you're still resonating and vibrating in that old energy of who you used to be and really allowing the navigation, you think back to about 2 years ago, some of your decision-making about what you wanted to do maybe went on the back burner because of contracts, partnerships, connections. Now it's coming back to you saying, okay, now that you've looked at all of that, what do you want? First house is that, right? And you're like, do I, don't I? Maybe I've changed my mind. Maybe my identity's changed. Now, the other thing I can say is you may go through changes with your clothing. You may not get to a point where you like it. I would say during Mercury retrograde, if you can, delay doing anything cosmetic, beauty, because you're not going to like it. It's not going to resonate with you as Mercury goes direct. Those sort of situations don't have positive outcomes. Mercury is retrograde in a fashion sign and an energy of beauty. And you're probably going to generally, if you're buying certain goods during a Mercury retrograde, you're actually going to spend more. with clothing, with food and produce, crosswise, you thought that the steak dinner was $20 and they charge $100. It's Mercury. Just check your goods. I would say this is personal. Okay, you can feel up and down, misunderstood, misinterpreted. Do you love me? Do you not? Come back into yourself. What outdated vibration have you been living by? Are they person's standards? Are they old emotions and feelings? Are you taking things personal? Are you fretful of new beginnings? Sit with that. Positive things are coming. Are you taking on too much? Are you being unrealistic? I can do everything. Look, it's Gemini is the jack of all trades in the Zodiac. What my father said this to me years ago, and this has nothing to do with Geminis. It's an analogy. Jack of all trades. How does it go, Giggle? Master of none. So it's like knowing a bit of everything. We did have the North Node in Gemini. All of us learned so many skills. This was a couple of years ago. We're on social media. We were learning about canning and culture and health. That part I was sick of. Anywho, so let's look at yours, Scorpio. Sitting with it, uncomfortable changes you know you need to make, but maybe you're avoiding. Okay, you're being way too hard on yourself. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if people judge me? What if they don't like the real me? It's all in our heads. It's okay to change. Nobody owes nobody. Jack of all trades, master of none. Yes, and my dad was really a master of everything, but it's weird. Do I think you can be good at a lot of things? I do. With time. I do. Could I be a dental surgeon? I don't know. I always said we do need people, but there's something in you, Scorpio, that's changing. It's okay to shed your skin. It's okay to, get down to the bone and say, I love who I am. And this is who I am. Take me or leave me. What is going to become your destiny moving forward? If you have too much attachment, you're going to hold on and try to stay in your safe zone. So you personally are going to be very vibrationally nervous during this, okay? Going into it, give yourself some time. Don't panic. Breathe. Let go. Something comes in your head, let go, okay? Because it's going to make you anxious, but it's all coming back to here. It's all coming back to the inside. Stop being so hard on yourself. What is failure good for? Doing better in another area, or even it's showing that maybe you didn't resonate with a certain thing in the first time, but it's not happening on the outside of you. It's happening on the inside of you. This also can be where you get checkups done, where you're really healing, you're prioritizing yourself. You're going, look, I'm not biting off more than I can chew. What is good for me? Let me take a moment during this time so that I can choose what's correct for me. So I think you're going through an energy of change, but it's not happening on the outside, doubles. It's happening on the inside. It's question marks you have, and it's beliefs and feelings. Sagittarius, 12th house. Oh, Lord. Okay, great aspect and bad aspect all at once. Why? It's because 12th house can be your dreams blooming coming true. But the house of the undoing can be the subconscious mind. 12th house is one of those dicey houses where habits can come into play. When we look at a birth chart, we generally can see spiritual gurus, spiritual teachers, people that are very psychic, empaths. But you also can have habits. You also can create those stories in your mind. You may isolate yourself away from people. You may be very fretful. It can be like a midlife crisis. It's like you're needing to have a new beginning. Creative ideas. Lots of ideas can be coming in, but you haven't implemented any changes for them. This is where you can physically see that dream coming into a reality, but there could be an ending of one cycle. And for you personally, because you're going to go from the 12th house to the first house, because inevitably when you're in the 12th house, if there's an ending there, where's it coming up as a new beginning in your life? You. Similar to Scorpio, brand new beginning, an ending and a brand new beginning. Doesn't mean to say it feels grand all of a sudden. It could be something you were thinking about for a very long time. This could relate to habits, kicking habits, Belief systems, dealing with them. Psychology, do I need help with that? Making those calls, knowing your limit. Also, having courage, you know, having candid conversations to do with things. Inner child, yeah. Where has the mood come from potentially? Is it moodiness? Is it emotions? I think you've been mulling over these chapters for a while. I do. This is now where it's come to the forefront. So it's like, okay, where in this department am I caring for myself? What are my freak out zones? What am I scared about? Can I express myself in a communication sense, because Mercury is retrograde, in a healthy way? Can I nurture myself with my inner child in a healthy way? How do I address that? It is a positive thing that, look, some may choose to go, right, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go and, you know, talk to a professional. Or it could be, I've seen this image in my mind and now it's coming to a physical reality. It can also be lotteries. But if you know something needs addressing and you know something needs wrapping up, dealing with, and not hiding behind anymore, Scorpio is going to bring it to the forefront and it's going to help you have your new chapter. Okay, my doll? So just be prepared. Don't use pacifiers during the eclipse. Seek support if you need it. And potential dreams come true and a personal brand new beginning. Okay? 12th house, like I said, it can be our house of our undoing, habits, belief systems, fear-based frequencies, gurus, counselors, prisons, mental asylums. If something has been done, Scorpio brings it up, it gets found out, and then you get it, okay? Capricorn, 11th house of wealth, friends, personal hopes and aspirations of the 11th house. So this could be a dream. This could be a dream coming true. This could be a big chunk of money that is given out, but more coming back in after. This could be you going into management for some of you. This could be making big plans with a romantic partner. But it is where you are also doing, like, this is community service, you know, doing something for society. Very Aquarian in nature. But your personal role, your goals, if you're creating if you're launching something, I probably wouldn't launch it till Mercury goes direct. But with the 11th house, it could be lucky wins, this, like lotteries, pay rises. So something is earning one tier level of payment or one stream of income, may be going and another one coming in. You might be signing a contract. You could be actually getting loans. So if things were delayed, this is where it's coming through now. So if you've been saving for a big goal, this can be where the contract comes through. And again, even though the eclipse is happening, I still keep seeing the moon in Taurus as the portal for the manifestation. So it's like something is being dealt with in the 3-day. It's like we're doing something. And then as we get to that next moon, it's almost like it's culminating, coming to fruition full circle. So money, false starts, greed, going, oh God, I've got to use my wealth better. What do I do with that? How do I deal with this more effectively? This could be savings plans. It could be addressing things. It could be talking to professionals, banks, things to that degree, pay rises, creative projects, moving into management, sourcing a new job to give you more. Positive, okay? Could it be, could you have issues with friends? Yes. Could you have a soul tribe member that has passed over? I would say an older situation. I would like to not think it would be most recent because it is the South Node. So this was an old situation. You know, maybe how you deal with those emotions. Control also, remember with Scorpio was a possibility. So how do we feel to do with, do our friends understand us? Are they healthy for us? Do we feel manipulated by these people? Do we need to have a conversation maybe with a particular individual that maybe has crossed an unhealthy boundary? But overall, I see it as a very positive thing. I see this as you saving for things, you gaining, you launching, you having a brand new big beginning. Yeah. Yeah, so if it was a friend, it could be like you need to talk to them about something. This could also be a friend coming back to apologize to wrap that cycle up. Aquarius, this is pretty big for you, especially because Pluto had been in your 12th house for 20 years. It's left you alone for a bit. It's coming back again. But again, that Pluto energy is now in your where was we? Make sure I'm on the correct one. 10th house. Okay. So 10th house is interesting, and I was mentioning this to the members. 10th house relates to your career. But if you were going into retirement, you'd look at the 10th house and go, what does that mean? How does that relate to me? I'm not working. So how does the 10th house relate to me? It's your purpose. It's one chapter of life is ending and you're moving into a brand new purpose. So I'll give you a few examples. It could be you are moving to retirement and you're like, okay, what are my hobbies? What are my dreams? Am I going to be looking after my grandkids? Am I going to be socializing with friends and joining clubs? What is my purpose? What is my new step forward? In relationships, the same situation applies. It's like, how now, brown cow, can I address that elephant in the room? And what can that new chapter be? Well, what part in this do I have? What part do I need to remove myself from or change so I can have a better outcome? So I always call it making the cake differently to get a different outcome. Some of you could be transitioning careers. Some of you could be moving into management of personal businesses or creative processes. Some of you could be reviewing a current situation and saying, okay, I need to change it a bit. It doesn't resonate with me anymore. This can also be your actual websites that you tweak, or the physical environment. It could tweak because it is moon. So it could be the environment, the home, and creativity. So, yep, changes of jobs are possible. Returning to an old place of employment is possible. Having a new role in your life, be it you are going to be a wife, or you're going to be a grandmother, or you're going to be a parent. It's a different role in life you're going to be taking. So something is going to be moving. Yeah, be kind to yourself during that transition, okay? Let's pull a card. Did I pull a card? I didn't, did I? I'm telling you, I've got a lazy eye. I better keep an eye on the time because I'm multitasking today. I've got training to do. I have clients. I've got assistance with my daughter. I've got to read the Discord members. So those of you that are still here from Facebook, hello. Hi, YouTube. How many people do we have on Facebook still? And Pluto in the 11th. Oh, yeah. Yeah, keep an eye on all your receipts and your documents and your logins, bank statements. Interesting. Okay, Aquarius. I don't know, man. Well, you got two. Two's company, three's a crowd. Okay, I don't know why I get this. I get the worry war. It's like some of you are feeling during this time. Look, could you hear from people from the past? Yes. This could be romantic interest. This can be also in a career sense, looking back to the past and going, all that glistens was gold and it was all back there. Or what they said they were going to give me, it's not quite it. So it's like your next, some of you, and also, I don't know why I'm saying this, but it feels like paperwork. It's like looking at paperwork, digging to the core, making sure that everything is equal in love and war. There's also this new chapter, but some of you can feel a little bit anxious that what if it goes pear-shaped? What if it's not good? What if I get betrayed? What if I get left? What if it's not going to work? And there is this kind of anxiousness. The reason is this Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius, and 0 degrees is the full card in Tarot, so you're kind of freaking out because you've got a new chapter. I would say calm down. What's that song, Calm Down? I love that song. Every time I hear it, I don't care if it's on a short. I don't even like shorts. Even though I'm there for an hour. It's like, what am I doing? Seriously, have I learned anything? I did actually learn something the other day. How to get oil out of a soup. Wow. How to devein a chicken. I wasn't looking for it. That's the thing about shorts. I think when they can actually be timed. You know, a lot of times when I go on a short, I'm like, what year were you from? You know, especially celebrity gossip is like, yeah, but what century was that? When was that? Mercury retrograde, probably fake news. Okay, let's see. What is the next zodiac sign? So Aquarius, be gentle with yourself. Brand new chapters. You can also be launching home-based businesses for some of you. So what part of that psyche of maybe where you thought you were going, you're going a different direction now, and it's making you re-look at it. So it could be, okay, is it this direct location? Is it a tribal cultural thing at work where it's maybe it's not vibing with you. Maybe it's toxic. Maybe it just doesn't resonate with you anymore. There's something in that purpose zone and career zone that is evolving and changing. And it could also be paperwork associated such because Mercury is retrograde. Now, Pisces, last but not least, and then I'll answer a few questions and I'll hit the road, Jack. I hope you enjoyed this. Pisces, 9th house, you could be traveling, okay? You also could be upskilling. You may be looking at your life and your destiny. I hear the term losing my religion. Now, the good thing about the 9th house is you can be an empath. You can, I don't know if that's a good thing. Should we reassess that statement? Empath is like, oh, I don't know. I think that the trainee empath, we're doormats and we absorb things like a sponge, and then we're like, no, leave me alone, go away. So the 9th house is religion, values, spirituality, travel, siblings. Now it's in Scorpio. Something hidden could come to light. You may be thinking about it. You could be thinking you're never going to travel again. But again, it was in the South Node, so travel for you maybe was a little bit difficult because of the 9th house. This could be coming up now where now it's like, okay, if I want to, what am I going to do? Could it be suddenly you do? For some, it could be. For some, it could be that you are looking at it and you are starting to create a plan so that can happen. It also could be on the lower frequency. If there was trouble in life and you got yourself in a bit of a trouble, it could come to the forefront to be addressed, clean up, to tidy up, so you can Jupiter that situation forward and you can address it. Jupiter also, because it is 9th house and Jupiter later is moving into Taurus, it's Scorpio and Jupiter simultaneously. It's your 9th house. Hi. The 9th house, in the context of this situation, it could be to do with self-esteem and confidence. It could be, right, I'm reviewing nutrition. I'm caring for myself. I'm loving the person I am. I'm being me. You also could be very psychic during that time. Now, the new chapter can be to do with marriage. It could be reconciliations, a person from the past coming back. It could be healing from the trauma of a separation or a divorce. There is a wrap up. Now, I do see a lot of travel involved with that. I do see Jupiter will be there. So there could be travel. You could have an opportunity to travel. You might have a contract. You could have some paperwork that you're dealing with. You may have a value shift spiritually. And you also could return to a group. Let's pull a card. What other way can it play? You could be looking at, if you were studying, it could be the wrap-up of study. If you delayed and you left it to the last minute, well, you're going to have fun at this eclipse, aren't you? You also, between the intentions you set at this point, over the next 6 to 12 months, that could be a distinct possibility. Love of God. Okay, so for some of you, you could be dealing with maybe a sibling, a family member. You could be dealing with a contract. This could be a physical investment. You may be looking at your paperwork and your books. You may be networking in a plan. I feel you're getting down to the crunch. If you're wanting to study something, if you're looking at education and saying, hey, in order for me to actually liberate myself out of a circumstance, I need to get to the root cause. I need to get the root cause of it. I need to maybe talk to a professional, or I need to, book a holiday. It feels like there could be paperwork involved, but I feel there's an action plan here for your future. I also feel you want to have more fun. Like everything's feeling a little bit serious. So I do think overall you're looking at ways that you can liberate yourself. You're looking at things you could be decluttering and looking at things that you just simply don't resonate with anymore. I would say try and leave that to the 15th if you can. Put them to the side at the moment. Anyone who is wanting to, this also can be you thinking that you want to move to a different country. Like, I want to sell my house, I want to move to a different country. I don't resonate with the tribe. I don't resonate with the people around me. A distinct possibility. Okay. Any questions before I hit the road, Jack? I hope you enjoyed that. So tips would be smudge your homes, get your crystal grid done. No meditation on the day of the eclipse. Avoid pacifiers if possible. It can be tense. It can look yucky before it looks pretty. But the work you're doing now is to get the best outcome future tense. Now, that placement has been in the South Node for about 18 months, so it's now here to wrap up. It's a tidy up. It's a declutter. It's getting to the, it's getting rid of the trash so that we can actually have success and a smooth foundation this month, okay? And so you'll see that growth. If that has in your life, those placements been put on the back burner and you've seen no movement, it's now you're going to see that physical movement. Okay. Any questions? I will have to love and leave you. You're most welcome. I hope this helped. I hope you enjoyed it. Members, if you did want that super chat in the dark tomorrow, PM me in Discord and I'll tee it up for you and we can have a chat then. If you guys want to join us anywhere you are, YouTube or Facebook, feel free. We're going to have super chat questions prior to the eclipse. And we can do mini reads in there that are more personal and relating to you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.